Unbiased, unfiltered, unbiased sports talk on YouTube.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God, my man Sess. Welcome to the Gods of Boxing Talk. Now the time has come. Tomorrow's the big fight. Probably the biggest fight of this year thus far. It's going to be between WBA Super Champion or Super Welterweight Champion Keith Thurman versus WBC Welterweight Champion Danny Garcia. Now, this shit, Seth just said it like literally 2 seconds before I hit record how hard this prediction was going to be. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I agree with my man is because this is a 50-50 fight, dog. Like, I said this on our podcast we do every Sunday nights. I said that it's a 50-50 fight because both fighters have flaws that their opponent can exploit.
Yeah.
And if given the correct game plan and they exploit it correctly, the flaws that they have, they could both easily win this fight, or it could be a tough fight for both. You see what I'm saying? It just really depends on the game plan that both fighters go in the ring with. Before I pass it to my man Seth, I'm going to make the hardest part.
Damn.
Make him do the hard shit first and give his prediction before I do mine. But I just want to read some tweets and logistics, man. Let's do that first, though. Cool. Keith Thurman's 27-0 with 22 knockouts. He's 5'7.5" with a 69-inch reach. Of course, his last 3 fights are Robert Guerrero, Luis Collazo, and Sean Porter. And in all 3 of those fights, we saw that he needed to dig down deep. And he had to overcome adversity in order to get the win, right? Yep. Then you got Danny Garcia, who's 33-0 with 19 KOs. His third official fight at 147, but he did fight, what's his name, Lamont Peterson within the 100. I think he fought him within the 145-pound limit.
I think so, yeah. I think it was at a catch weight or something like that.
Yeah, because they were supposed to fight at 140, but the catch weight was like 143 or 144 or something like that, which is within 147. But he's 5'8.5", so he has a 1-inch height advantage, and then his reach is 60.5 inches. So he has a half of an inch reach disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Danny Garcia is pretty much being Danny Garcia. He don't talk much, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The only thing that he said was in response to watching a video of Keith Thurman, which this video has gone viral. Thurman's pretty much psyching himself up, you know, talking a whole lot of shit, you know, yelling, screaming, thumping his chest. And this was after he was doing some shadow boxing, which I criticized as him throwing too wide of that goddamn right hook. Motherfucker was bringing it way out here and shit. I was like, hey, don't do that shit in the rain, bro. You need to bring that motherfucker a little bit in. You know what I'm saying? You're doing all this shit. You need to bring it in a little bit, fam. But other than that, you know, I thought he was okay. But Danny Garcia's response to that was, hey, you know, nigga trying to psych himself up. You know, nigga like me don't talk. I don't do no talking. I think, you know, talking is for the weak. You know what I'm saying? Showing emotion is for the weak. You know, they got to do all that shit, show all that emotion. I just get in the ring, do what I got to do. That's all he said.
Yep.
You know, Keith Thurman, on the other hand, he's been doing a whole lot of tweets. I'm only going to do one, though, man. The latest one he said was, talk is over. Only thing left to do is prove my words true tomorrow night. Pound 1 time. Says, Keith Thurman is extremely confident. Danny Garcia is extremely confident. Break this fight down. Tell me who you got then.
Oh, man, you know what? Before I start, in the words of my man Russell Crowe on the movie Gladiator, are you not entertained? You know?
Hell yeah.
Man, look, yo, this is going to be a crazy ass fight, man. Just looking at it on paper, like you said earlier, it's definitely 50-50. It's really hard to pick a winner. But before I do that, let me break it down. First things first, let's go. The keys to victory for Keith Thurman will be basically be Keith Thurman 2.0. And what I mean by that is you need to correct every, not big mistake, every little mistake you make in the ring. One of his biggest things, man, that he cannot do in this fight is jump in. Do not, and
thank you.
I repeat, do not jump in. If you guys go back and watch the Jose Soto Carras fight, Keith Thurman leaped in. I think it was a Lee uppercut or it was some very, very, very ill-advised punch. He leaped in, and Soto Carras is not much of a puncher, so Keith didn't, get dropped by the shot, but I think he was a little hurt. Carras just basically took a half step back and threw this ugly overhand right, and it popped Keith right on the jaw. Yep. So against somebody like Danny Garcia, he's not going to be able to do that. So that's number one, do not jump in, okay? Number two, something that he needs to do is feint. I cannot stress that enough either. Feint. He's going to have to feint Danny out the game. One of the main reasons why he needs to feint is because feinting offsets timing.
Yes, sir.
If a guy has your timing down and he thinks you're going to come in at a particular time or with a particular punch, all you have to do is give him just a small feint. Either with the either with the shoulders or with the body. Feint him, or you could do it with your feet. Just step forward. Don't step forward into a punch, but just slightly, step forward, give him something. So Keith is gonna definitely have to feint, man. I'm telling you, that's gonna be essential in this fight because Danny Garcia is an excellent counter puncher. I would say, there we go. I would honestly say he's an elite level counter puncher, not an elite level fighter. He's an elite level counter puncher. A lot of what Danny does is predicated off of his counters and his timing. It's impeccable. So that's going to be huge for me. Another thing that Keith has to do is show Danny different looks. That's something else that's going to throw Danny off. And that's something else that'll throw his timing off, is if you show him different looks. Sometimes give him the high guard. Sometimes give him your regular stance with the right hand onto the chin. Pop the jab out there. And just switch up. Everything that Keith does in this entire fight needs to be geared towards throwing Danny's timing and his counter punches off. Everything. That has to be a part of the game plan because it's essential to what Danny likes to do. So that's what he has to do. Besides that, but when you got a guy that's so good at timing, it's something that is a big deal and you have to pay a lot of attention to it. The last thing that Keith has to do is simply stay sharp. Be sharp for 12 rounds straight. Be sharp for how many ever rounds this fight goes. If it goes 12, you got to be sharp because, again, a guy like Danny, he's one of those dudes that capitalizes on anything. So you got to be sharp. If you pop the jab out there, pop it out there and get it right back. If you shoot the right hand, boom, get it right back, get it right back home. If you throw a combination, you need a boom, 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 get the hands back home. Whenever you throw your combination, I see a lot of guys doing that. Even some of the pros, they throw shots, but as they're throwing shots, this hand is down. If they pop in the jab, they do what I like to call a bow and arrow, and you cannot do that. Okay, the bow and arrow is basically throwing the jab and pulling it straight back like this. When you throw the jab, get the right hand right here, boom, and stick it out there. So that's what I mean when I say stay sharp for 12 rounds straight. Now, here's what Danny has to do, okay? Danny has to honestly, I don't want to say he has to switch up, but he's going to have to be Danny Garcia 2.0 as well. That's why it's so hard, man.
Yeah.
Damn, it's a 50-50 fight, and you kind of, you kind of say the same things for both fighters, but Danny's going to have to be Danny 2.0. And I'm telling you, what he has to do is he's going to have to be slightly better than he was when he fought Lucas Matisse. I thought that was I thought that was I thought it was a good performance by Danny because a lot of people thought Danny was a lot of people thought he could only do one thing in the ring. I think in the Lucas Matisse fight, he actually showed you something a little bit different because he boxed a little bit. He actually moved a little bit.
Yep.
You know, so and that shocked a lot of people. They weren't expecting that. I remember Bernard Hopkins jumped in the ring and yelled at Danny, "You boxed the hell out of him." You know, so and that was unexpected. So what Danny has to do, man, if I'm Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman is a power puncher. And I say this all the time when you fighting guys with power. You want to put the power guy on his back foot. You got to take some of the steam off those shots, man. Especially a guy like Keith Thurman. He likes to jump in with power shots, but if he doesn't jump in, what he likes to do is he likes to let his hands go. Boom, 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 boom. And that's whenever you get set, he's gonna bust you with at least 3, 4, 5 punches, and then he'll get out. Yep. You know? So what you got to do is keep him on his back foot, take some of the steam off. Danny Garcia has to lure Keith Thurman into making a mistake, and the best way to do that, if you're Danny Garcia, if you have you have this particular fighting style, is put him on his back foot. Keep the jab in his face. Jab him down low, up top, down low. You know, just keep a nice crispy jab out there, and that's something that Danny does, but he does a little bit lazily. You know, he'll throw the jab, but he'll do what I just said. He'll throw the bow and arrow, and he'll throw it to the body, but his right hand is all the way out here because he's reaching, and he's trying not to get hit. You know, a lot of people know Danny doesn't really move his head. So when you got a guy like that doesn't move his head, they try to substitute certain things for it. And they'll try and get themselves out of position, but they're actually in position to be countered. So Danny has to tighten that up, man. Keep that jab pumping, you know what I'm saying? And keep trying to put Keith on his back foot. That's the one thing that I can say about Keith is I don't think it's hard to make him move. I don't think like with the guy, and I know this guy is not in class, but a dude like Golovkin, it's real hard to get a guy like Golovkin to go backwards because he has real good balance. You know what I mean? Even Floyd Mayweather. Floyd moves when he wants to move. Right. You know, you don't necessarily push Floyd back. Floyd just uses footwork depending on the fighter in front of him. Yeah. You know, so that's what Danny has to do, man. Keep Keith on his back foot and pull him into a mistake. Pull him into a counter shot. And one of the ways that Danny can do that is by giving the illusion that a particular punch is there. Okay? Give him the illusion. Set him up. It's called, me and my man 2K, setting traps. That's how you do it. You gotta set traps for him, okay? And one of the ways you can do that, like I said, is either pushing him back with a nice jab, making him think that you're gonna come in with something, and knowing Keith, he has a history of jumping in. He's going to take any particular opportunity that you give him. So set it up, get him thinking it's coming, and the minute he goes to shoot any type of punch that's ill-advised, counter him off of it, okay? And my final thing, 2K, my final thing.
Oh, you'll find out why I'm laughing in a minute, man. Go ahead.
My final key for Danny is, man, the same thing he did with Lucas Matisse. Little subtle body shots. Slip those bad boys in. Pop that left hook to the body. If Keith misses a punch, boom, pop him to the body, okay? If he misses on the other side, boom, pop him with the right hand. Another thing that Danny does is Danny has a pretty nice left hook to the body. It's not something that he's just gonna kill you with, but it's very subtle and it zaps the energy out of you. Another thing he does is he's not afraid to go to the body with the right hand. And that's the one thing that I do like about Danny. He'll shoot that wide, and it does come wide. He'll shoot that wide, right hand to the body, but it's all to set up the left hook.
Yes, sir.
So he's gonna boom, boom,
that's
and
his
he comes
favorite
up
combination.
top.
That's his favorite combination.
Exactly, 2K. So that's one of the combinations that I'm gonna be looking for, man. So, with all of that being said, it's still hard as hell to pick a winner. But if I had to pick somebody, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go ahead on and go with Danny Garcia.
Danny Garcia.
And that hurts, 2K. Yeah. You know, when we first started talking about this fight in the gym, I think that was the guy that I was leaning towards.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't go back on my word. And I wouldn't be mad if Keith won, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be mad if Keith won. I just believe both of these guys have kind of seen each other just in different fighters. I would let the viewers know, go back and watch Garcia Matisse. Even though it was at 140, go back and watch that, because that hasn't been brought out of Danny in a while. And I think a lot of people forget that. You know, go back and watch that fight. And we both...
He actually lost his next 2 fights. You know, it was controversial, but you know, people thought he lost his next 2 fights after that.
Exactly. And go back and watch Keith Thurman versus Diego Chavez. I'm hearing all of these different names, but that's the one name that I'm not hearing. Go back and watch Thurman Chavez. Look at Keith Thurman's face. For all of my boxing enthusiasts out there who really, really know boxing and who can really, really, really look in these guys' eyes and see something, look in Keith Thurman's eyes. There was a moment where he doubted himself in that fight.
Second round.
Yes. And and you can tell that Diego Chavez's power and his boxing ability was bothering Keith Thurman. That's when I became a Keith Thurman fan, was because he did pull that fight out, and I seen some doubt in him. I seen a little mental glitch in there, but he stuck with it, and it eventually ended up working for him. So, like I said, to all the viewers, go back and watch those fights, but go ahead on, 2K. My bad, man.
See, nothing wrong with that pick. Like I said, it's a 50-50 fight. One thing I want to get out there to the viewers, to the subscribers and the new viewers, the prediction don't fucking matter. A prediction is exactly what it is. What matters when we do these prediction videos, I'm going to stop calling them prediction videos. I'm about to just call them breakdown videos. You know what I'm saying? Because I could break the fight down, tell you what each fighter needs to do, you know, relative to the opponent that they're facing, and not even give a fucking prediction. I'm just looking to see if they're actually doing that. I don't even care about my prediction. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So one of the reasons why I'm laughing and smiling and shaking my head is because I'm going to say the same shit. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't talked about this fight yet like that. We've thrown points out there and shit here and there, and we're like, yeah, you know, I think this is going to happen, this is going to happen, then that was it. We've never broken it down. And I'm getting ready to say the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, since I don't become repetitive, I'll just go off of the main points, or based on what I think is the main points off what you said. Absolutely. With Keith Thurman, feinting is very fucking important.
Yes.
Because the kryptonite for a counterpuncher, there's actually 2 kryptonites, and to be honest with you, the counterpunching style, while it is very technical, it's actually not a style that you really want to be in. Because Right, because the counterpuncher, he waits. Okay?
There you go.
And if you're a master class boxer and you're facing a counterpuncher, well, you can just outbox him. You see what I'm saying? If that counterpuncher doesn't have any other assets to his game. So the actual counter-punching style, while it is technical, while it does look good, when motherfuckers get snapped, oh, that shit look real good. But it's not the typical style that you would want to be in if you don't have anything else to add to your style, right? With that said, if Thurman feints and he's got Danny Garcia trying to guess at what he's doing next, well, then that nullifies Garcia's ability to counter him. Okay?
Absolutely.
Feinting and mixing it up, the 2 things, the 2 points you made, they actually go hand in hand in this fight, because if he mixes it up, it does the exact same thing, or it'll have the exact, I hate saying exact same, sorry. It'll have the exact result that feinting would have to a counterpuncher. You mix it up on him, well, then he has to find his timing again, relative to the different look that his opponent gave him. You see what I'm saying? So those are 2 major things. Another one I'll add with Thurman, bro, you gotta keep moving. He's gotta keep moving, dog. I don't want him to set.
That's a good point.
And that's his style. He's a boxer puncher and he goes for the knockout. I don't want you setting. I don't want you going for the knockout. What you need to do is do what Floyd Mayweather did. Floyd Mayweather said, you know what, fuck knockouts. It's not about that. You know what it's about? You know what boxing's about? It's about outpointing your opponent. Okay?
There you go.
So I'm going to go in the ring and I'm going to land my points. And I'm going to hit and not get hit. I don't give a fuck what you fans say. If I didn't get the knockout against, a motherfucker I should have knocked out, don't matter. If the knockout comes, it comes. But I'm going to get my points first. Mm-hmm. That is the mindset Keith Thurman has to have in this fight. Once he sets, he will get caught. Because Keith Thurman does not have the defensive ability. He doesn't have the elusiveness in the upper body to be able to elude incoming shots while he's standing right in front of an opponent. He doesn't have that elusive ability in the upper torso. So you can't stand still. You got a half of an inch reach. It's a little bit of an advantage. Use all of it, dog.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Every bit of that half an inch, dog. And keep fucking moving, okay? Another thing, Danny Garcia has a fucking chin. Now, one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life, and I've said this plenty of times on this show, but this is one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life. Danny Garcia doesn't have the chin of Sean Porter. I was like,
wow.
First of all, without throwing too much shade at Sean Porter, Danny Garcia was never knocked down by a check left hook from a 140-pound fighter. Oops, my bad.
There you go.
Didn't mean to say that. Another point that kills that bullshit is Danny Garcia was hit flush by, I think it was a right hook from Lucas Matisse, and it knocked his fucking mouthpiece out. Exactly. And he didn't budge. It hit him.
Nope.
Nigga said like this. Mouthpiece came out. He turned right back. That is a granite chin. You know what I'm saying? That ain't stone. That ain't copper. That's fucking granite. Okay?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Now, with that said, Keith Thurman probably, I can't say he has more power than Lucas Matisse. Because Matisse could fucking cry. He was knocking everybody out.
Yeah, man.
So I can't say he has more power. Leonard Bundu went 12 rounds with Keith Thurman, but he wasn't able to go 12 rounds with fucking Errol Spence. So that says something right there. So I don't know if he has the power of a Lucas Matisse, but even if he did, it doesn't matter because Danny Garcia's chin is ridiculous. Do not go for the knockout. Get your points, dog.
Yep.
Now with Danny Garcia, he cannot be stagnant.
Yes.
Danny Garcia is known to be flat-footed.
Man.
Now, I tell everybody, I say, please, and a lot of Danny Garcia supporters and people who are going for Danny in this fight, they keep mentioning the Lucas Matisse fight. And I tell them, Keith Thurman brings a lot more into the ring than Lucas Matisse did on that particular night. Okay?
Yeah.
Keith Thurman is a much better fighter than the Lucas Matisse we saw go up against Danny Garcia in September of 2013. He's a much better fighter. He brings much more dynamics. Okay?
Yep.
He's smarter than that Lucas Matisse. Keith Thurman's a very smart fighter. That's one thing.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the IQ of both fighters is something that's underrated for both these guys. You know what I'm saying? Both these guys are very smart. I think Keith Thurman's a little smarter because he's more dynamic in there. He can do certain things that suits him given the opponent he has. If he's going to move around the ring and box, he'll move around the ring and box. If he feels like he needs to come inside and stay put, he'll come inside and stay put. We've seen that against Leonard Bundu. We've seen that against Sean Porter. We've seen it against Diego Chavez. Okay? So, Danny cannot be stagnant. And he can't wait, dog. Danny actually has to be first.
Yes.
The only way I say Danny doesn't have to be first is if Keith Thurman is doing a stupid game plan and stand put on the inside. Then he don't have to be first. He can actually wait then. You see what I'm saying? But if Keith Thurman is going to use the ring, which is my number one key to victory for Keith Thurman, he's got to use the ring. He's got to box. If he decides to do that, then Danny cannot wait. He's got to be first. Because if he's going to be in the stereotypical counterpunching style, well, then all Keith's got to do is just dance around the ring and fucking jab all 12 rounds. He'll win.
Yep.
He'll win the entire fight off jabs like Tyson Fury did. You see what I'm saying? That's a possibility if he did that. You see what I'm saying? Yep. The one point that you made about him having to pretty much keep Thurman on his back foot, which proves my point that he needs to be first, right? Because that means you're dictating the pace by keeping your opponent on his back foot. With that said, he has to bait Thurman into making mistakes. That's the only thing, in my opinion, he can do to win this fight. Danny is a very smart fighter with B-level skills. Okay? Very smart with B-level skills. That's why he always finds a way to win. So his IQ is going to have to be the number one thing that wills him through this fight. Only problem with that is Keith Thurman may be smarter or just as smart as Danny Garcia. So he has to rely on Keith Thurman not doing the smart thing, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm looking at the experience in this fight, man. We've yet to see Danny Garcia live through adversity. And what I mean by that is the fights Danny Garcia won, he did it in a fashion where it was, he should have won that fight. Not the ones that we think he lost, people. The ones that everybody as a collective thinks that he won. It was like, he should have won that fight. Not that it came easy, because given his style, no fights are going to come easy, right? Yeah. But it was at the end of the fight, we were like, he won that fight. Now, the fights that he won that we think he lost, right, were the fights that he actually went through adversity in. And the majority of us are like, he lost that fight. He didn't come out of adversity. He lost. Mauricio Herrera and fucking Lamont Peterson, right? Yep. And there's some people out there that said Robert Guerrero beat him, but I disagree with that. I thought he beat him
pretty good.
Yeah. That if we say any fight that he came out of some type of adversity in, it was Robert Guerrero, but it wasn't the same kind of adversity that Keith Thurman went through with Louis Collazo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Robert Guerrero. It's not the same kind of adversity he went through with them. And of course, Sean Porter, right? Sean Porter. And both Sean Porter and Louis Collazo fights, he got hit in the body. Motherfucker was like backing up, trying to hold his body and shit. But at the same time, trying to throw some type of offense to keep that pressure off of him. You see what I'm saying? And he lived through the adversity. He won those fights. So that right there alone is why I got to go with Keith Thurman, fam.
Hey, okay.
That's why I got to go with Keith, man. Keith, Danny Garcia is known as a fighter who, quote, finds a way to win. But in two of his fights, he didn't find a way. He actually lost. The judges gave him gifts. Keith Thurman's actually the guy we need to be saying is finding a way to win in his fights. Against Robert Guerrero, it was a rough and tough fight. He found a way to win. Against Louis Collazo, he was hurt badly to the point where he could have been knocked out. Found a way to win. Against Sean Porter, that fight was very close. And there was points where Sean Porter looked like he was going to run away with it. And when he did, Keith Thurman would come back. And he won that fight. So, one more thing before I end it. Danny Garcia, please go to the body. All right. Go to the body because we know Keith Thurman's body is made out of Jell-O pudding. We know that. Go to the body. Also, if Danny Garcia is going to throw that signature right hook to the body, left hook to the top, wait and time it, counter him as he comes back up top with that left hook because he throws it extremely wide and he leaves his whole body wide open. Also, he typically, as you were making fun of him recently in one of his training camps, he throws his head down and does this shit. I call it the Magic Johnson no-look left hook. You know what I'm saying? When he does that, time his ass. You'll catch him.
Yep.
You got anything you want to add?
Nah, man, I'm just ready. I'm ready, 2K.
Can't wait, fam. Man, YouTube, this is by far the best breakdown of this fight.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I'm not just tooting our horn just because it's our channel. Nah, man. I mean, just listen to the content. Listen to what we told you, motherfuckers, why each fighter would win this fight, why they would lose this fight. I mean, nobody's going this depth, man. They're not going this in-depth.
Yep.
It is what it is. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section would be real. This is real talk for real fans. 1.